The ballroom had been arranged like a marketplace. Not openly, not crudely, but everyone understood what it was. Rows of noble families lined the walls, daughters displayed in silk and jewels, mothers whispering rehearsed virtues into powdered ears, fathers calculating titles and land with smiling faces. At the center of it all, one empty chair, high-backed, black carved oak, waiting. The Duke will arrive at 9 precisely. Lady Pembroke adjusted her daughter's necklace without looking at her. You will stand straighter. I am standing straight. You are standing hopefully. There's a difference. Across the room, laughter rose and fell like nervous birds. Because tonight was no ordinary gathering. Tonight, Duke Lucian would choose a bride. Not court one. Not entertain proposals. Choose. That alone made half the kingdom frantic. He is cold. He is impossible. He has refused 20 offers. He dismissed the Countess for speaking too much. And yet, one mother whispered sharply, he remains a duke. Which, in rooms like these, made every flaw decorative. At the far edge of the ballroom stood Elena Hartwell, late 20s. White woman with luminous fair skin, soft hazel eyes, chestnut hair pinned simply compared to the jeweled women surrounding her. Her gown was elegant but old-fashioned, carefully mended where no one should notice. Most did. Some smiled at it. Others pretended not to. You should move closer, her aunt hissed beside her. I can see perfectly well from here. You are not here to see. No, Elena said softly. I gathered that. Her aunt's jaw tightened. You will never have another chance like this. That depends on what one calls a chance. Must you always sound difficult? No, Elena replied. Only when spoken to badly. Her aunt nearly choked. Because Elena had not wanted to come. Her late father's small estate had been swallowed by debts after his death. Her aunt, now guardian in all but law, saw the Duke's bride selection as rescue disguised as romance. Elena saw it for what it was. A polished auction. Still, she came. Sometimes survival required attending humiliations politely. A bell chimed once. The room straightened as one body. 9 o'clock. The doors opened. Duke Lucian entered without hurry. Tall, broad-shouldered, white man in his early 30s with sharp angular features. Dark hair brushed neatly back, pale skin, deep-set gray eyes that missed nothing and forgave less. He wore black. No jewels. No unnecessary embroidery. Power rarely needed decoration. He walked to the high-backed chair. Saturday. Looked once across the room. And somehow made 50 women feel examined in a single glance. Begin, he said. No greeting. No smile. No attempt to soften the absurdity of the evening. Mothers surged like a tide. Introductions began. Lady after lady stepped forward. Accomplishments. Dowries. Bloodlines. Languages. Musical skill. Charity work no one had actually done. Lucian listened with the same expression one might reserve for weather reports. Elena lasted 12 minutes before slipping away. No one noticed. Except perhaps the Duke. But if he did, he gave no sign. The west corridor beyond the ballroom was quiet, dimly lit, blessedly empty. She exhaled for what felt like the first time all evening. Then heard the crash. Porcelain. A small cry. Elena turned sharply. An elderly woman had fallen beside a narrow side table. A tray lay shattered, tea spreading across the floor. The woman struggled to rise, one hand trembling. Oh heavens. Elena crossed the corridor immediately. Please don't move too quickly. I am perfectly capable, the old woman snapped. Then winced. Of being helped. Elena hid a smile. Excellent. That is easier for both of us. She knelt carefully, gathering the woman's hand into hers. The lady was elegantly dressed, though in plain dark silk rather than jewels. White hair arranged simply beneath a lace cap. Fine bones. Sharp eyes dulled by pain, but not by weakness. My ankle, the woman muttered. Treacherous creature. Ankles often are. You're impertinent. Only conversationally. The old woman stared, then barked a laugh. Well, that's new. Elena helped her to a nearby bench. The woman's ankle was swelling already. You need ice and a physician. I need fewer stares and worse relatives. That too. Elena removed one glove, tore a strip from the inner hem of her underskirt, and wrapped the ankle firmly. The woman watched every movement. You've done this before. My father believed horses and daughters should both know practical skills. A sensible man. He was. The old woman's gaze softened for a fraction. Why are you not in the ballroom, trying to become wealthy? Elena tied the knot neatly. Because you fell. That is not an answer. It is the only honest one. A pause. Also, I dislike being inspected like cattle. The old woman laughed again, then studied her more carefully. You are one of the candidates. Allegedly. And yet here you are. Yes. Interesting. Footsteps sounded. Two servants hurried into the corridor. My lady, we've been searching everywhere. They stopped dead at the sight of Elena kneeling before the woman. My lady, Elena repeated. The servants looked terrified. The old woman's mouth curved slightly. Yes, she said. How unfortunate. I was enjoying being ordinary. Elena slowly stood. I beg your pardon, I didn't realize. Good, the woman said crisply. Those who realize things too quickly are usually unbearable. One servant bowed low. Shall we return you to the private chamber, your grace's mother? The corridor went silent. Elena blinked. The Duke's mother? The old woman looked delighted by her expression. Oh, keep that face, she said. It's honest. Before Elena could speak, another set of footsteps approached. Measured. Controlled. The servants paled further. Duke Lucian Viermont turned into the corridor. His gaze moved instantly to the old woman's wrapped ankle. Then to Elena. Then to the shattered tray. Everything in him sharpened. Who did this? No one, his mother replied. Gravity remains undefeated. He ignored the joke. Were you alone? Briefly. That ends now. Then his eyes returned to Elena. Not casually. Not politely. Directly. You left the selection. It was not a question. Yes. To tend a stranger. Yes. His mother lifted a brow. I was not a stranger for long. Lucian did not look away from Elena. Why? Because apparently everyone in this family demanded reasons. She was hurt. That is insufficient. No, Elena said evenly. It is complete. Silence filled the corridor. The servants stared at the floor. The old woman looked thrilled. Lucian stepped closer, tall enough to alter the air around him. You walked away from rank, wealth, and advantage. Yes. For inconvenience and broken porcelain. Elena held his gaze. For a person, something unreadable crossed his face, then vanished. His mother smiled slowly, and for reasons no one in the corridor yet understood. The evening had just changed. No one moved. The servants remained frozen. The Duke stood in silence. His mother looked delighted. And Elena was beginning to suspect the corridor had become far more dangerous than the ballroom. Lucian's gaze did not leave her. My mother dislikes assistants. So I noticed. She dismisses physicians. She mentioned worse relatives first. A flicker crossed his expression. Gone quickly, but real. His mother gave a satisfied hum. At last, a woman in this house who answers normally. Mother. Oh, don't use that tone. It makes you sound married already. The servants nearly stopped breathing. Elena wished briefly for the shattered porcelain to swallow her whole. Lucian ignored the remark. Can you walk? He asked his mother. Of course not. You said you were perfectly capable. I was lying to preserve dignity. He exhaled once. The sound of a man long accustomed to impossible women. Then, without ceremony, he bent and lifted her into his arms. His mother settled comfortably. To the blue sitting room, she ordered. And bring the sensible girl. Lucian straightened, still carrying her, still looking at Elena. Come. It was not loud, yet somehow it felt impossible to refuse. The blue sitting room was warm, elegant, and entirely unlike the severe public spaces of the estate. Books lined one wall. Fresh flowers stood by the windows. Needlework rested unfinished beside a chair. Elena noticed it instantly. The Duke's mother noticed her noticing. People assume my son decorated this house. They would be wrong. Wildly, Lucian set her carefully onto a chaise. A physician was summoned. Tea arrived. Servants vanished and reappeared in terrified efficiency. Through it all, Elena remained near the doorway, uncertain whether to stay or flee. Why are you standing there like unpaid furniture? The Duchess mother asked. I did not wish to intrude. You already have. Sit. Elena sat. Lucian remained standing. Watching. Always watching. His mother accepted tea, then pointed her spoon toward the ballroom wing. How many fainted when I disappeared? None, Lucian said. Then the wrong women remain. Elena nearly laughed and caught herself too late. The older woman's eyes gleamed. Yes, she said. Keep doing that. Lucian looked between them. Something cautious entered his expression. You find this amusing? No, Elena said politely. I find her amusing. Correct answer, the older woman said. The physician examined the ankle, declared it sprained, praised the bandage, and left after bowing himself nearly in half to everyone. When the door closed, Lucian spoke. You have training? No. You wrapped it correctly. My father taught me practical things. Useful man. He was. A pause settled. Different this time. Less hostile. More human. His mother broke it instantly. She's prettier when she stops trying to disappear. Elena choked on tea. Lucian's jaw tightened. Mother. What? I have eyes. You also have no restraint. Which is why I noticed truths before you. The room went still. Because that was aimed at him. And because it landed. Lucian turned to Elena. You may return to the ballroom if you wish. The offer sounded suspiciously like dismissal. Elena rose. That would likely be best. His mother smacked the arm of the chaise. Nonsense. The cattle parade is over. It is not a parade, Lucian said. You placed women in a line while mothers advertised breeding traits. A pause. It was a parade with chandeliers. Elena bit the inside of her cheek. Lucian looked, for the first time, almost tired. You objected to the process. I objected to the women. His mother pointed at Elena. Except that one. Silence. Then Lucian said, Why? The question was to his mother. But his eyes were on Elena. The older woman smiled. Because when everyone else reached for a title, she reached for a hand. The words settled quietly in the room. No one mocked them. No one dismissed them. Because they were true. Lucian took one slow step closer to Elena. You knew nothing of her identity. Yes. You expected no reward. No. You left your own advantage. Yes. Why? There was that question again. Always why? Elena met his gaze. Because pain matters whether it belongs to nobility or not. His mother shut her eyes briefly. Oh, marvelous. Lucian's expression did not change. But something in the room did. You speak as though rank means little. It means much to those who have it. A pause. Less to those being crushed beneath it. Silence. Even his mother stared now. Lucian studied Elena as if re-evaluating every woman he had seen that night. Then, send everyone home. The command went to the nearest servant. The poor man nearly sprinted from the room. Elena blinked. The selection is ending? It has ended. His mother smiled like a woman watching fireworks. Finally, Lucian did not look at her. He looked only at Elena. You came here because your family needed rescue. The bluntness should have offended her. Instead, it simply embarrassed. Yes. You left the only path they wanted. Yes. And if I offered another? Her breath caught. I don't understand. That is unusual, his mother murmured happily. Lucian ignored her. I have no interest in a bride chosen by hunger, ambition, or fear. A pause. But I have considerable interest in one who walked away from all three. Elena's pulse stumbled. Your Grace. If you refuse, he said calmly, you may leave with transport, funds, and your dignity untouched. His mother added, if you accept, I gain conversation and grandchildren eventually. No pressure. Mother. What? I'm old, not dead. Elena should have laughed. Instead, she looked at Lucian. Really looked. The feared Duke. The cold man who held himself like stone. And beneath it, someone who had been watching for honesty in a room built on performance. You barely know me, she said softly. I know what you did when no one important was watching. The word struck deep. Because that was the truest knowing of all. And if I am not what you imagine, then we shall both be disappointed honestly. She stared. Then, against all logic, smiled. His mother clapped once. There she is. Lucian's gaze warmed by the smallest degree. Enough to matter. What would happen, Elena asked carefully, if I said yes? His mother answered first. I'd have my tea moved downstairs. Lucian said, we would begin properly. No games. No parade. No purchase. No pretending. Elena thought of the ballroom. Of mothers bargaining daughters. Of a life spent being positioned by other hands. Then she thought of a fallen stranger whose first concern had been wit. And a duke whose first real act tonight had been to end the spectacle. Yes, she said. The room went quiet. Then his mother burst into tears. Oh, excellent. I was prepared to fake another injury. Lucian closed his eyes briefly. Elena laughed. And when he opened them again, the feared duke was no longer looking at her like a candidate. He was looking at her like the answer had arrived in the wrong corridor at exactly the right time.